everybody. Hope you had a great week. Welcome to the 135th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream here on YouTube. I'm here for your questions. I hope spring is treating you well. I'm here with a bunch of good teaching things to show you. Kind of a theme this week for this week's show is new stuff, new music, new albums from established veteran artists, a new play-along song from a new-ish kind of person who I thought was new, but isn't as new as I thought. I'll explain everything. But it's a great song. I can't wait. It's been on my list for a long time. So stick around for tonight's play-along song. We have a student quote of the week. We have two student quotes of the week. We have my own dumb question of the week. We have a bunch of WTFs, weekly teaching features. And like I kind of suggested, we have a bunch of new albums out from, I'm looking at 6 that I made a list of, just that I gathered very quickly. A lot of new music. Is it a springtime thing? Is it just because I'm out of the loop? So when I get back in the loop, I see everyone has a new album out. I don't know. A segment I call Who's in Town? A bunch of people are on tour. A segment I began last time called Killer 45s. I'm just reaching into my little container of 45 RPM discs and just grabbing out a handful. I think you'll get a kick out of what I grabbed this week. I'm going to say a few hellos. Hello, Joseph M. Fish. He says, no audio. What do you mean no audio? No audio. Is that for real? No audio. Is that true, or is that just M. Fish is getting no audio? I want to say hello to Scott, Randy, Barry, Debbie. Hey, a lot of people already tuning in. Excellent. Don't forget to give this live stream a like. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'm stuck at 200,000 subscribers, which I'm not complaining at all. But it's as if I'm in this weird algorithm where YouTube will not let me break out. You know, I'm getting new subscribers here and there. I lose a few here and there. So I don't know. With your help, with your subscription, we can push it over 201,000 subscribers. Meaning 200, 201,000. I don't know. Let's get down to business. You got your guitar handy? I sure hope you do. I'm here for your questions. Throw your questions in the chat with a bunch of question marks so I know they're aimed at me. In between your questions, I got a bunch of things. I thought I'd start with that thing that I'm hooked on. Remember that scale page? I know we've been doing this for a few times, for a few live streams in a row, but that's why we're doing it. I want to get some consistency here. What you're going to be looking at in 1 second is something that you've seen before. And that's the idea, man. Let's just do this thing. Window, there we go. Let's do this one. Because we've done it before, we'll do it again. It's a great way for us to get our brain, our head, our minds, and our fingers all in the same place. The scale page, right? Those of you who are regulars here, I know there's a bunch, just from the chat, I can see there's a bunch of regular people. I see Robert, RB, Matt, CLS, Chaz. You guys have seen this before. Let's just get warmed up for a second. E major scale, down, up picking, right? Alternate picking with your picking hand, your fretting hand in first position, meaning index at the first fret, middle hovering at the second, ring at the third, pinky at the fourth, right? Let's just do it, that E major scale. How about this speed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, and here we go. That comforting sound of the major scale. Let's do it again. Same one, E major scale. Ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Easy peasy. Now, do it backwards, but with the same downs and ups. So you're going to start with an upstroke on that last 2 on the D string. I'm going to start with an upstroke there and reverse the whole thing. Ready, go. If you can do that, do it faster. If you can't do it, take it slower. But you want to be able to do this up and down. Okay. Now, this is obviously a physical test of both your hands, right? But let's use your brain in another way. Next scale down, the A major scale. Same pattern, shifted down one string towards the floor. Here we go, A major scale. Ready, go. I'm going to reverse the A major scale with an upstroke first. Here we go. If you're like a lot of my in-person students, the downs and ups get off track when you change to a different string. That can happen. If you're not sure if you're getting the downs and ups correct, you probably are not. But also, even if you are getting them correct, you want to know you are. You don't want to hope you are and think you might be. Nah, you want to know it. How about, are you remembering to use your middle and pinky on the 2 and the 4? I notice a lot of my in-person students, it's just a weird combination, right? Remember, you don't have to leave that middle finger down, right? Once you play that middle finger on the 2nd fret, you're 100% encouraged to lift it off, to reach up with your pinky. When you use your pinky on the 4th fret, are you staying right in the tip of that pinky? Are you getting a nice clear tone? Or are you getting a little flub? Right? We don't want that, you know. D major scale. Watch out, the D major scale looks so innocent, but the ending, it's a plot twist. I call that a plot twist. Because the D major scale involves the B string, the 2nd string, the pattern that we just got used to gets thrown off. So watch out for the ending of the D major scale. Here we go. Middle and ring at the end. In some ways, this is a tricky pattern because you don't get to use your index finger. We love our index finger. It's so smart. It's so brave. But, oh well, D major scale, descending in reverse. Upstroke 3 on the 2nd string. Here we go. If your final note is, you know, a down pick, if it's supposed to be a down pick, or if it's an up pick, if it's supposed to be an up pick, if you get the final note correct in terms of your pick direction, you probably did it right, right? But one of the goals here is to get you so super aware of your pick direction that you know you're getting it right. You don't have to rely on, you know, how you ended or whatever. Okay, last one, the G major scale, possibly the easiest one because you got 3 open strings involved instead of only 2. No pinky, you know. So I would argue the G major scale that we're about to do might be the easiest. This time I'm not going to stop when I play that 3 at the end of the G major scale. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to go right back down again. Okay, you'll see what I mean. Why not? G major, 2, 3, 4. I'll say this, the faster you go, the better it sounds, like almost everything on the guitar, right? So one of many good reasons to push yourself to go a little bit faster, you know? Okay, now I know we've done this page before, we've talked about it before. It serves a good purpose though. Gets us in the mood, right? Okay, that page, as usual, is one of many pages available for you at my website, song-bike.com. I'll double check to make sure it's there, but it should be there. Okay, there you go. Scale page. All right. So I want to get us started that way, get our brains focused. I'm laughing. Let's get right to our student quote of the week. I had 2 student quotes of the week. As some of you might remember, I visit a preschool a couple times a month and play and sing and teach little kids. And one thing I found very quickly is kids love to sing Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. They love to sing that song. So every few visits, that's one of my songs in my rotation. And I, you know, just as a means of introduction, I say to the kids, hey, here's a song you might remember. We sang it, you know, a few weeks ago. I also say that so they don't start saying, we already sang this one. Like, I know we sang it, but it was like 3 months ago, you know. So I introduced this song. It's a Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. This one girl couldn't have been more than 4 years old. Just close your eyes. She shakes her head. She goes, I love the Beatles. 4 years old. There's hope, my friends. There's hope. Other student quote of the week, and this one has a punchline. One of my students, actually, we might have been doing this scale page right here. I think we might have been. She worked with one of my adult in-person students. She played through it pretty well. I mean, she got the downs and ups, and she used the right fingers. And she just looked down at her guitar. She said, "I can't believe I just did that. Who am I?" And I thought that's, every once in a while, you just might surprise yourself, right? You might, it takes a lot of practice, but you just might surprise yourself. So that's student quote of the week. She said, "Who am I?" But that's not the punchline. Here's the punchline. I thought, oh, I got to write that down before I forget it. But I didn't write it down at the moment. So maybe an hour later, I'm with a totally different student, and it pops in my head, I got to write down what she said, right? So I'm curious what that student thought. My student saw me grab a piece of paper, and what I wrote on the piece of paper, right in the middle of this other student's lesson, I just wrote down, "Who am I?" question mark, and put it aside just so I wouldn't forget, So I'm sure that student is like, "What's up with my guitar teacher? Having a deep philosophical crisis right during, Stairway to Heaven or something." I don't know. I thought later, I wonder if that student had questions about why I just wrote that down. Anyway, so that's the second of 2 student quotes of the week. Cracking me up. What can I say? It's cracking me up. All right. Hey, let's get into a WTF, weekly teaching feature. How about, how do you feel about sextuplets? Anyone have a strong feeling about sextuplets? Well, you're about to. You're about to. Let me make sure I'm pulling up the right thing. Harmonize. There we go. I have a big folder on my desktop, on my home screen, of all this stuff, and that's the one I'm looking for. Okay, here comes some sextuplets. I'm going to show you the whole page, and then I'm going to zoom in. We're about to do a slightly tricky hammer-on exercise. What you're looking at here on the page, I'm going to make it larger in a second. The page I just put on the screen, and give it a minute in case your screen is still black. It'll show up soon. It's another great page. In fact, it's page 141 from that great book that I keep recommending to you guys called Guitar Soloing. The authors are Gilbert and Marlis, Beth Marlis, and what was Mr. Gilbert? Not Paul Gilbert. What was his first name? I forget his first name. Great book. I've shared a link in previous live streams on how you could get that book, but it's a great book, Guitar Soloing. So what you're looking at here is page 141. I'm not going to put this one on my website because, darn it, I don't own this. They wrote this, and they deserve credit for it. So we all should go get this book. Now, I'm going to zoom in because despite the title at the top of the page, what we're about to do has nothing directly to do with the harmonic minor scale. It's this sextuplet hammer-on thing. Oh, is that big enough? Hope so. There it is. Okay. So here's what we're looking at here. Groups of 6, really groups of 3, starting with a picked note and then 2 hammer-ons. Make this a little bit louder. That's a 3-5-7. For those of you who are squinting at the very first note, you might think, is that an 8? What is that note? It's a 3, as in 3 Musketeers. So a double hammer-on. It's going to be a good workout for your fretting hand. You only pick the first note. I highly recommend doing a downstroke. My index is on the 3. I'm using my middle to hammer on the 5. Not only is that a strong, confident finger, but it creates what I call a momentum so that my hand is already rolling towards the pinky, which is going to hammer on the 7. Now, I know some of you are already saying to yourselves, I cannot play 3 and then simultaneously hammer onto 5. I get that. You can, but let me help you. Your thumb should be pointing up towards the ceiling or possibly even slanted towards the 6th or 7th fret, you know. Bottom line is your thumb can't be hanging out up over the neck and can't be parallel to the neck like that. Okay. Number 2, not only is your thumb position important, but I call this a leap of faith. You don't have to keep a death grip on the 3rd fret note with your index while you're hammering on. You can take a little bit of a leap, and if you hammer on hard enough with your middle finger, you can let go of your index. And so there's no moment when you're literally touching the 2 frets with 2 different fingers spread out the way I'm doing it right now. Okay, but it's a leap of faith. Your middle finger has to jump fast and firmly hit that 5th fret note. Now, if you survive that, you have now come to the pinky hammer-on, which may feel even less confident. At least it's not a massive stretch. Same deal, though. Take that leap with your pinky and to the best of your ability, stay on the extreme tip of that pinky. Now, your reward for that one is the same thing on the A string. What we have here is the G major scale. And you can see in the text above this example. Well, the authors here, you can see what they say. The execution of 3-note per string shapes, which are fairly easy for the guitars to perform using a hammer-on technique. Okay, they said it. It's their words, not my words. Fairly easy. Tap your foot. Okay, now, this is going to get easier as you head over towards the thinner strings. You don't have to reach as far across the fretboard. And let's face it, skinnier strings are simply easier to hammer on and because they're thinner, less material, right? Okay, so what does this actually sound like? I made it to the 5, 7, 8. Now my hand has to shift as smoothly as possible for 10, 12, 13. Then 10, 12, 14. With that final slide up to 15. We're going to talk about which fretting fingers to use in a second. We're going to talk about that shift from 5, 7, 8 up the neck to 10, 12, 13. There's a lot going on here, right? Some of you are still back on the 6th string, 3, 5, 7. And you know what? That's not a bad idea. But if that's making you crazy, that 3, 5, 7, it's not going well, then give yourself a break. For the fun of it, let's shift over to the 2nd string, the B string, 5, 7, 8. Why? It's going to be a little bit easier. 5, 7, 8. Please use your index on the 5, ring on the 7, and pinky on the 8. Those of you playing electric guitar, you have a little bit of an advantage. Thinner strings and the whole instrument is just more immediately responsive, right? Your notes are being amplified. I'm not saying that it's easy on electric guitar. It's easier, right? A little bit. Okay, so a quick reminder, this is nothing but notes from a G major scale. And so in a perfect world, as you're playing this, you would hear do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol. I can't sing it and play it at the same time, but it's a G major scale. Just for an example of a scale that starts really low on that G on the 6th string and ends up really high, 15 on the 1st string, Okay, now, which fingers to use? For the 4 bass strings, index, hammer-on with middle, hammer-on with pinky. Do that for the 3, 5, 7s. Do it for the 4, 5, 7s. Index, middle, pinky. Index, middle, pinky. When you get to the second string, the one we just did, index ring pinky for 5, 7, 8. Now your whole hand, you have no choice. Just have to, as smoothly as you can, shift your whole fretting hand up to 10, 12, 13. It's still going to be index ring pinky. At least that's what I recommend. So let's turn that into a mini exercise. 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13. And notice my eyes are glued to my left hand. I can't do this without looking at my hand. I mean, not right now, maybe someday, but not right now. I'm trusting my right hand to stay on the second string. I mean, I have to look at my left hand, right? So what's going on? I memorize the paper, I memorize the page, right? Focus on the hand that needs my attention, trust the other hand. It's a constant cycle, whatever you're practicing, right? If you're able to memorize it, memorize it. If you're able to trust one of your hands, or basically trust one of your hands, excellent, you know. What if you can't memorize it? You're gonna have to trust both your hands. Depends. It's a case-by-case basis. Okay, so that second string, there's a lot going on that second string. For the first time, we're changing the index ring pinky, and we're also, for the first time, shifting up the neck. Once you survive that, now you've made it to the first string. I recommend going back to index ring pinky, and the pinky is going to slide from 14 up to 15. And if you can end up on that pinky with a nice ringing 15, give yourself a pat in the back. Now, this is going to sound painfully obvious. This is supposed to be hard. If you all could play this easily, you'd be looking at me like, come on, man. You know, you'd go to some other YouTube guitar lesson channel, right? This is supposed to be hard. You are allowed to focus on one part of this. There's no law that says next week there's a test on this entire exercise, right? But even by focusing, say, on the two bass strings, the E and the A strings, just that 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. Oh, it's going to get your fretting fingers in shape, you know. I really love this as a teacher. The sentence right above the exercise: work on precise, even execution, especially when position shifting. And they're talking about that second string, right? Yep. And to some extent, that slide, that pinky slide at the end. Interesting. Hey, Chaz, thank you for your super chat donation. I appreciate that. So yeah, a little bit different, right? I realize that for some of you, these are some pretty high numbers, 8s and 10s and 13s. That's all right. I always say you paid for the whole guitar, time to use it. You know, those numbers are a little more comfortable for you electric guitar players. Okay, questions, comments? Again, from a book. I'm going to stop sharing. From a book called Guitar Soloing, Beth Marlis. I'm so sorry, I can't remember Mr. Gilbert's name. But his last name is Gilbert. It's available. It's out there, published by How Lettered Publications. Okay, there you go. Bear with me. I'm going to check that off. Check. And we have a poll question. And the poll question ties in with today's theme of, you know, new stuff, new music. Are there any good new songs by new artists? What do you think? Yes, no? The two answers are yes and no. And what I put for the third one, I have no idea. Yes, no, I have no idea. That's the poll question of the night. And it's going to tie in with our play along song. Okay, how about a quick segment called Killer 45s, since I have them in the right here. Went up to the attic, grabbed my container of 45 RPM records. Quick segment, what did I find? 45 RPM, Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. The Freak by Chic. Freak Out. I had good taste, man. I had good taste. Oh, boy. Night Fever by the Bee Gees. Are these worth anything? Anybody know of these? I'm open to offers. I mean, big offers. Kenny Loggins, Whenever I Call You Friend. A couple more. Ooh, The Dirt Band, American Dream. Anybody remember this song? What a great song. I beg your pardon, mama. What did you say? My mind has drifted off on Martinique Bay. What a cool song. American Dream by The Dirt Band. Last few, Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver by Gary Wright. Love that song. I still love that song. Oh boy, I was a young kid when I got this one. Casey and the Sunshine Band, Keep It Comin' Love. That's a great tune. I've seen some great videos of Casey and the Sunshine Band live in concert, like on YouTube or something. Great. Ooh, and this one, talk about a deep cut. The band was called Night, and the song, N-I-G-H-T, and the song was called Hot Summer Nights. Anybody know that one? Night. The song called Hot Summer Nights. It's about a band that's trying to get their act together. That's the theme of the song, Hot Summer Nights. 1979 is the date on it. Anyways, that's a little segment I call Killer 45s. Those are some Killer 45s. Oh, well. Okay, I'm looking to see what you guys are talking about. You guys have some positive things to say about Jesse Wells. There you go. New singer-songwriter Joseph and Charlie and Barry. No, Joseph and Charlie and Randy are all talking about Jesse Wells. Yep, protest songs of a sort, right? Got a bunch of Grammy nominations. Did he win any Grammys? I'm not sure, Joseph. I know you're saying he got Grammy nominations. I think he did not win any. Nothing wrong, no shame there. It's an honor just to be nominated. Barry's saying there's a great new music up venue, 5 minutes, a 5-minute walk from where you live. That sounds great. DAC Poet says, I've been working on some hammer-ons and pull-offs. All right, so this exercise we just did, DAC, will help. We'll help with that, right? Yeah, I'm just seeing what you guys are chatting about there in the chat. Joseph, thank you for your donation. I appreciate that. Okay, and don't forget to vote in our poll. In the poll question again, is there any good music out there? Are there any good new songs? Specifically talking about new songs by new artists. So that's the question. Now, what is prompting this? I will tell you right now. Let's do a little segment, a quick segment, but a good segment on new albums that are out. Now, I chose 6 performers, and for each of these performers, I'm going to include a YouTube video link to a song/video from their new album. In some cases, the album might not be out yet, only maybe the single is out, but the album's coming out soon. Okay, so who are the people that caught my attention, who all have new albums, either that just came out or are coming out soon? Okay, in no particular order. Ringo Starr, new music from Ringo Starr. Beck has a new album out. Train, remember Train? Of course you do, Train. Bruce Hornsby has a new album out. Joe Jackson has a new album out. And Noah Kahan, Noah, I should know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Kahan. Now, I knew Noah Kahan was big, but man, I didn't know how many millions of views he had and how many thousands of YouTube subscribers. Holy cow. So every name I just mentioned, Ringo Starr, Beck, Train, Bruce Hornsby, Joe Jackson, Noah Kahan, those are just some of the, I think, many, many, many people who putting out new music this springtime. Every one of those people, there's going to be a link so you can check out what they're doing, what's new. Ringo's looking good. Ringo's sounding good. I only listened to one of the songs. I think maybe in Ringo's case, maybe there's only one song out so far. I listen to all these folks, so now my mind is mush. But lots and lots of new music out right now. And you know what? Maybe it's just that I'm noticing it. Maybe it's maybe this happens, every month or so. But man, you know what? Not to be cynical, but it's to promote a summer tour, right? You put out the album now, and then you put the tickets on sale and you tour all summer and fall, and hopefully you make some good money, because in a bunch of these cases, you can listen to the whole album for free on YouTube, like right now. So the world has changed. What are you going to do? It's just changed, which is great, I guess, but I don't know. So if you find an artist you love and an album that you love, see if you can go see them in concert, because that might be the way that they're going to make a little money, because it's not 100% clear how they make a whole lot of money from the actual recording itself. But what do I know? What do I know? Anyways, Ringo, Beck, Train, Bruce Hornsby, Joe Jackson, and Noah Kahan are some of the many people with new albums out. I always like to take a break and say hello to my mom. My mom is often watching these live streams. Hi, Mom. Mrs. SongBike is moderating tonight's live stream. Mrs. SongBike, hello. Hope you're well. I'll be home shortly. We had some great Chinese food last night, and being adults, we saved half of our portions for dinner tonight. It just seems like the grown-up thing to do, and man, was that good. Hey, Bruce is joining us. Hey, Bruce, thanks for joining us. So what else? Let's do another weekly teaching feature. Sometimes I like to dig back to one that we might have done previously, and it's worth digging back, because if it didn't 100% sink in the first time, then today's the day. And if it did sink in, then you get that beautiful feeling of confidence. Like, oh yeah, man, I learned that the first time, and I get it. What I'm putting on the screen is, I'm 99% sure we did this before, but it's worth a quick look again. A lesson plan I call bar chord fragments, and do let me know if it does not appear on your screen, because as you know, there's ghosts in the machine, and sometimes I can see it, and I assume you guys can all see it too. So bar chord fragments. This is not about bar chords. It doesn't matter whether you're good at bar chords or not. I hope you all are great at bar chords, but statistically, many of you are not great at bar chords, I'm sure, and that's great. That's great. That's the whole point of this. When you are tasked with playing a bar chord, you're welcome to do it. Knock yourself out. You don't have to. You can play a fragment of the bar chord. So look what I did up there. Taken at face value, at the top of the page is an F major bar chord. You are allowed to play the two bass strings. That's the first diagram on the left under the dotted line. Little F power chord. Right? It doesn't sound as full and rich as the full bar chord, but it gets the job done. You want more of a sound? Add your pinky. That's the second bar chord under the dotted line. RB, as RB is pointing out, these are both known as F5, an F power chord. By the way, I'm using the example of the F bar chord to break into fragments. We could do this with any bar chord. It's just convenient to do it as an F. This is not to say you shouldn't get good at bar chords. It's not to say that you shouldn't get good at playing F lots of ways. But this is something that I do quite a bit, and it's something that you're allowed to do. And you can certainly, here's my number one concern. I would hate for you guys to be playing a song, learning a song, and have one or two bar chords mess up your whole experience with that song. And I would hate, especially if it's a favorite song, I'd hate for you to say like, oh, I guess I can't play that song because I can't play bar chords. No, play a fragment of the bar chord. You got to be careful with your pick. See all those X's above all those diagrams? All those X's are that's no man's land. You can't strum those strings. But okay, you can do both things. You could simultaneously work your way through a song using these fragments and separately be working on your overall bar chord skills. Why not? Okay, take a look at the third one under the dotted line. This is definitely a go-to. By the way, that's how I play F a lot of the time anyways. But remember, this isn't about avoiding F chords. It's about anytime you go to play a bar chord, playing a fragment instead. any bar chord. Okay, so notice I'm focusing on the 4 center strings. I call those the 4 center strings. Yeah, Charlie's making a good point. Charlie says, the problem I have with bar chords, I can play them, but I find it cumbersome to smoothly change into and out of them. 100%. Oh, yeah. It's almost easier, ironically, if the whole song was nothing but bar chords. If the whole song is nothing but bar chords, okay, well, then you're in it for the long haul, you know. It's when you're playing D and A and G, and all of a sudden there's an F sharp minor, you know, or, you know, I don't know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay, so I really like that third F, the one that's focused on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings. Okay, now in that case, those 4 fingers on those 4 strings, that is giving the world an F major chord. The first 2 are power chords. Those first 2, you know, fragments, because of the notes that were omitted, it wasn't truly an F major chord. Okay, it's a quick and dirty substitute. You know, this one is an F major chord. No one can tell you it's not an F major chord. So is the next one. I'm looking at the chord grip on the bottom left of the page, that 3 finger, that nice little diagonal line. You can do that instead of the bar chord. How about the next one? Index finger making a little bar in the 2 treble strings and your middle finger reaching over. Everybody clear on why I'm using the term fragments, right? I'm using that top diagram as my starting point, and I'm breaking off pieces, fragments from that, you know? The very last one, you could say the last one's the easiest one, the 2 skinny strings, index finger. I recommend using your index fingers, just clamping down on both of them. That's not a complete F chord. Clearly, it's not even F major. It's like essentially it's another little power chord, you could say. Typically, though, for whatever reason, that is called a double stop, not a power chord, in my experience. It's like you could say it's an F double stop, with the understanding that it's the same 2 notes as an F power chord. It's the note F and the note C. By definition, that is an F power chord, but it often gets called a double stop instead. Okay, that's about all I wanted to say about this. If it's not already on my website, it will be soon. I'm pretty sure this one I already have uploaded. I hear the first responders responding out there. Questions, though, comments about this? It's a worksheet, right? Just a worksheet. Nothing to, my hope is that this liberates you a little bit and makes you aware that you have a lot of options. You got 6 options right there. You know, I have very mixed feelings about bar chords in general as a teacher, but frankly, as a player too. I don't play bar chords, and neither does Bruce Springsteen. I heard him say it himself. Bruce Springsteen was being interviewed on Howard Stern and said, in a nutshell, he hasn't played a bar chord on stage. I don't think he could even remember 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. There's options, there's alternatives. Okay, there you go. Bar chord fragments. Yeah, Charlie's pointing out that if you're doing a CFG chord progression, that those fragments are helpful. Yeah, totally. Yep, it's all about options. Keep in mind that a chord is a concept. It's not some universal grip. It's not, you know, people don't walk around and say, I'm going to play a chord on the piano, and they do this certain grip. We think of it that way, partly because of teachers like me. But sooner or later, teachers hopefully say, hey, by the way, you know, a chord is really a group of notes that you can play all sorts of ways all over the guitar. It's not just this one grip that you do and then you're done with it for the rest of your life. You know, like a D chord, we all learn a D chord, and that's great, and you're going to find tons of use for it the rest of your life. But sooner or later, you realize there's D chords scattered all up and down the fretboard, and that can be that's on the teacher, right? The teacher should be bringing that to your attention sooner rather than later. It shouldn't be something that you find out, you know, after decades of playing the guitar. Hey, Brian, I like how Brian's talking about some new artists that he recommends. Chris Angelis, Mark Scabilia, and Maggie Antone. So yeah, so you guys, I think it'd be great for you guys to put names of new or not new or maybe lesser known performers in the chat. You know, there are people who are, you know, overnight success. After 30 years, they become an overnight success, right? That counts. That counts as new music. A little ironic. Hey, stick around. How about if we do one more thing and then get right into our play along song of the week? So don't go anywhere. Okay, let's do a quick segment I call Who's in Town? And more than ever, I mean, every night of the week, someone is coming through small town Connecticut here. What the heck? So some of these names are going to ring bells to you guys. Some of them you've never heard of. That's okay. But here is who's coming through my neck of the woods. Maybe they're coming right past your house on tour as well. The Squirrel Nut Zippers. I thought about whether or not to bring this up. I don't know much about the Squirrel Nut Zippers. They've been around for a long time, and I'm sure they're great. For better, for worse, they stand out in my mind because they received the worst concert review I've ever read in my life, and I don't know if anyone deserved that review that they got. My memory is that in Chicago, the local newspaper sent the classical critic to review the Squirrel Nut Zippers show. And he wrote just a scathing, horrible review. And I just thought, ouch, just ouch. Now, I don't know where that critic is now, but the Squirrel Nut Zippers are on tour, so I guess they get the last laugh. Who else is on tour? Madeleine Peyroux, Peyroux. Madeleine Peyroux is on tour. Richard Schindel, Otmar Liebert, and Luna Negra. The Bodines are on tour. Carolyn Wonderland, terrific blues guitar player, is on tour. And Melissa Manchester. Was she, what was her? I'm sure she had more than one famous song, but I feel like I heard Melissa Manchester on the pop charts when I was just a kid. She's on tour, man. Okay. The song I'm probably thinking of would be Don't Cry Out Loud. There you go. Don't Cry Out Loud. 13 million spins on Spotify. Holy cow. So, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Madeleine Peyroux, Richard Schindel, Otmar Liebert, and Luna Negra, the Bodines, Carolyn Wonderland, and Melissa Manchester. That's basically an act every night of the week. And I'm not in or anywhere close to, you know, a big city like Boston, Manhattan, or even Hartford for that matter. Go see some live music, my friends. People are out there. They're all great. They're hustling. And if they're coming through here, they've got to be coming through your area as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, let's do our play along song of the week. I can't wait. The song I'm about to put up on the screen is a song that's been on my radar for quite some time. I must have heard this song when it was pretty new because, shocker, this is a song that is only from 2023. I was joking just recently about how so many of the play along songs, all of the play along songs that we do here on the SongBike Guitar Q&A Livestream are older tunes. Well, tonight we're going to change all that. Soon on your screen, you will see the lyrics and chords for a fantastic song called No California by Ilsey. And I'm going to tell you more about Ilsey in a minute when we're done. But this song, I dug this song from the minute I heard it, I guess back in 2023. And it's been on my list of my songs to do with you guys for these play-alongs. Can you guys read that okay? I'll tell you right now, the chords, which is what you're going to care about the most, a lot of F major 7 and A minor chords. C and G make an appearance, but that's it. We'll talk about that G/B in a second. But again, to recap, the chords you're going to need: F major 7, A minor, C and G. F major 7. In case you're not familiar with it, it's the easy version of doing F. You do not touch the skinny E string. You're going to strum it, but you're not going to fret it. Index finger, 2nd string, B string, 1st fret. Middle finger, 2nd string, middle finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret. Ring finger, 4th string, 3rd fret. It's basically an F chord, just don't squeeze the skinny string, but you're going to include that skinny string. One of my favorite chords of all time. It has this dreamy, melancholy sound, and I think that would sum up the vibe of this tune. It's a dreamy, melancholy kind of song. Now, you're going to be changing from F major 7 there to A minor. Well, guess what? Your index finger is right there for you. You can do it. You don't even move your index finger. It's already in the right place. So take 1 second and practice F major 7 to A minor, F major 7 to A minor. Easy peasy. As usual. Yeah, I know I say it every episode. Someone do a deep dive and tell me if there's ever an episode of our live stream here where I don't say do G with your middle and ring and your pinky. You're going to be coming from that F major 7. You're going to be so glad that you're good at doing G with your middle ring and pinky. And the next chord is back to A minor again, I think, in every case. And your index finger will be ready to grab the 2nd string for A minor. Okay, so in terms of left hand, that's all I'm going to say at the moment about your left hand, your fretting hand, with one final fretting hand detail. In the chorus, there's a G/B. Now, let's start with the easiest solution for that chord. You can just play a G chord right there. End of story. What that officially means is play a G chord with B as the lowest note. That's that 5th string, 2nd fret note. Now, you could just grab a G chord and strum everything but the fat string. And then technically you are giving the world a G over B, G/B. But that's not really the point of this. The point of this is there's a walk down. So where it says G/B, what they're really getting at is they want to hear the note B, 5th string, 2nd fret, middle finger, loud and clear right there. This will make more sense when you hear it in the context of the song. Gotta go somewhere the sun don't shine so bright. Humor me for a second. I'm going to repeat that line for a second. Talking about the first line of the chorus, starting the C chord right by the word somewhere. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. I strum the C chord. For the G/B, I singled out one note on one string, that middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret. That's enough. That's enough to get the point across. You don't have to strum any version of G. That note is truly the important thing. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. That note B literally connects the C chord to the A minor chord. But instead of just strumming C and then waiting and then going to A minor, we insert that note in between. C. Ooh, so cool. So personally, that's what I would prioritize. At that moment, if you're capable of it, and I know you are, isolate that note. You won't regret it. Okay, let's talk about the strumming for a second. This song doesn't have a super distinctive rhythm guitar part. That's good. We can do what we want. Because it's such a common pattern, and because it's going to work as one option for this song, you could do down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. You're allowed to do that. That's how I'm going to start the song. It's going to be like, drive to the ocean, lie by the waves, bathe in the moment. Now I'm alone, I pray for rain to come. Okay, that's not what's happening on the recording, but you could get away with that. I'm going to start off that way, but then I'm going to morph into some other strumming patterns that fit the song better, and that maybe you're not as familiar with, and then after tonight you will be. For instance, how about if I start? I'm going to start on the chorus, and I'm going to change to out of here, start a whole new life. Gotta go somewhere where sun don't shine so bright. Everything around here, everything about this place just brings me down. Okay, so what am I doing right there? Again, this is for the chorus part of the song. I'm strumming the F major 7, and I'm strumming it a second time, but I'm catching it so quickly after the strum. Gotta get out of here, start a whole new life. So for every one of those chords, well, almost every one of them, strumming, let's call it strumming loud, and then strumming with a chop kind of sound. Loud, chop's not the best word. Staccato is the musical term. Legato and staccato. Legato, staccato. Doesn't seem very sophisticated. It fits the tune better than down, you know? Okay, now, I may not be able to control myself. What I would do if I was performing this song, especially if there was a band, I gotta get out of here, a whole new life, gotta go somewhere with it totally reminds me of Brick in the Wall. But anybody else? I'm going to do this on I think Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, isn't it in the key of D minor? I'm kind of stealing that rhythm guitar pattern from Pink Floyd, and I'm probably going to apply it to this tune. Okay, little. Again, it's even that is not literally what's happening in the song, but it fits it so well, you know. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do it with a F major 7. I'm gonna slow it down. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Gotta get out of here, start a whole new life. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. Now I'm glossing over that G/B because whatever strum pattern you do, you have to, I recommend, accommodating that thing right there. So no matter what I do, I'm going to try to call attention to that B note. Again, before I go any further, where it says G/B in the chorus, you could play just a regular G chord, no apologies. Go for it. You're allowed to, you know. By the way, that's the only moment in the song where chords don't last essentially for 4 counts. It's, again, chorus right by the word somewhere. 2 C's, 2 G's, G/B, whatever you want to call it, and then back to 4, you know, on the A minor. Everywhere else in the song, I believe every other moment, every time you see a chord name, whatever you're doing on that chord, whatever strum, the chord lasts for 4 counts. Ba, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, you know, except that one moment in the chorus where, again, C is for 2 beats and G/B is for 2 beats. At the very beginning, when I just isolated that one note, I said, oh, just play that one note. In my mind, it's lasting for 2 counts. The first beat, I'm playing it, and the second beat, I'm letting it ring. So it still lasts for 2 beats. Does that make sense? Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. Somewhere where the sun don't shine. So I just let it ring for the second beat. Why not? Okay, you ready to try this? Yeah, sure you are. No matter how I'm strumming it, you could keep doing it your way as long as it's working, and we'll meet. Does that make sense? One of us is doing the high road, one of us is doing the low road, but the song, the timing, the chord changes, the lyrics, all that is carved in stone. So we're allowed to do different strum patterns from each other as long as we agree on the content. Does that make sense? Okay. This has a very cool intro. I can't resist showing you the intro. Grab an A minor chord. Now let go of the A minor chord and do a hammer-on from the open strings onto the A minor. And I'm strumming the 3 strings, but only the 3 strings from the A minor chord. Without getting too into the nitty-gritty of the intro, that's what you're going to hear when you hear the original recording. That first hammer-on, I would do an upstroke. Again, I'm focusing on the 3 strings I'm touching. An upstroke on the open strings, maybe 2 upstrokes, and then a final downstroke on the ones I'm touching. I know this is not, I know I'm whipping through this. There's a little more to it than that, but that'll get you started. Okay, let's do this. Joseph is saying, can pauses be thrown in here somewhere? Yes, you could do one strum. You could leave lots of room. In fact, essentially, the recording has lots of space. Drive to the ocean, lie by the waves, bathe in the moment. Strum each chord one time, and then in your mind just go 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, next chord. That would totally work. In fact, that is in keeping with the vibe of the song. So why aren't we doing that? We don't have a bass player and a drummer who are keeping the thing going, you know? I don't, do you? Got nothing. Okay. Instead of doing the intro, I'm going to just jump in, grab your F major 7 chord. Let's do this. I'll see you on the other side. 1, 2, 3. We used to drive to the ocean, lie by the waves, bathe in the moment. Now I'm alone, I pray for rain to come. Take me away. Away from the hills full of promise, streets full of pain, even in winter. Bright sunny days, I pray for rain to come. Oh, but it never does. Gotta get out of here, start a whole new life. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. Everything around here, everything about this place just brings me down. There ain't no California without you, without you. Yeah, there ain't no California, and there ain't no California without you, without you. Yeah, there ain't no California. It's cold in your shadow, all that remains, ghost in the desert. Should I run away or pray for strength to come? I'll run away. Gotta get out of here, start a whole new life. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. Everything around here, everything about this place just brings me down. 'Cause there ain't no California without you, without you. Yeah, there ain't no California, and there ain't no California without you, without you. And there ain't no California. Here's the bridge. I'll keep running, baby, I'll keep running till you stop running through my. I'll keep loving you and I'll keep loving you. I don't really know why. I know that I gotta get out of here, start a whole new life. Gotta go somewhere where the sun don't shine so bright. Everything around here, everything about this place just brings me down. 'Cause there ain't no California without you, without you. Yeah, there ain't no California, and there ain't no California without you, without you. And there ain't no California. Ooh. I'll keep running, baby, I'll keep running till you stop running through my mind. Of course, now I'm remembering things I want to suggest. All those F major 7s and A minors, ooh, it would have sounded great. Do nice little hammer-ons with your middle finger. Same thing on the A minor, same middle finger on the A minor. Sounds great. You can do it on the C, but you know what? The C shows up right before that G/B. Maybe, I don't know if you want to get too fancy on that C, because nailing that B, which I did not nail the first time. I think I got it the subsequent times. I missed it the first time. My heart was in the right place. Cool tune. Okay, so this I will upload to my website, but in case you're curious, and I know I was, I thought, I should have a little background about this performer. And whoa, was I surprised. The link I'm about to put on the screen is a link that I'll put in the description of this live stream. Okay, give your screen a moment. If it goes dark, don't even panic. Don't worry. Speaking of panic, Ilsey, who wrote that song or co-wrote that song, had a #1 hit song with Panic at the Disco. Ilsey Juber. April 17th, she just had a birthday 8 days ago. Born April 17, 1986. Right now on the screen, you may be seeing the Wikipedia page all about Ilsey Juber. Now, here's what I didn't know. I didn't know how good she was. I knew I love the song. This is a successful person, man. #1, anyone who works with Mark Ronson, I really respect and enjoy Mark Ronson's music quite a bit. And she has worked with him plenty, but she's written songs for Miley Cyrus and Beyonce. So she's clearly a talented, successful person. Now, what I noticed as I educated myself is if her last name rings a bell, I'm scrolling down now, middle of the page, it says she's the daughter of Lawrence Juber. Who's Lawrence Juber? Well, he played with Paul McCartney and Wings. And for many years, he's been a highly regarded fingerstyle guitar player, Lawrence Juber. Like, well, I've heard of Lawrence Juber, but it gets better. Are you reading what I'm reading in the middle of the screen? Her maternal grandfather was Sherwood Schwartz, the American television producer behind Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. So I don't know if this is 6 degrees of separation. I don't know what's going on, but there you go. So all I wanted to know was, where her career is at and who she is. And now I realize, oh my gosh, I'm very familiar with her dad's name, certainly Lawrence Juber, and how little, I woke up this morning, I didn't know I'd be talking about Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. That's who Ilsey Juber is. And I'm going to stop sharing that screen. Boom. In the description of this live stream will be not only the Wikipedia link, but a link to her website, but also, hey, a link to her dad's website. So you have all that to look forward to. What a cool tune. By the way, according to Spotify, that's not even her most popular tune. Anybody ever, I think I'm guilty of this. I find one song by a performer that I really like, and sometimes I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to know everything else they've ever done, because I think, no, I'm never going to like any song as much as I like the one I like. I overthink it. Hey, Randy, thank you for your super chat donation. I appreciate that. So there you go. I've I've always dug that tune. Why did it take this long for us to do it in a live stream? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. It's a cool tune from 2023. Our poll question, you might remember, of the night is, boom, boom. Are there any good new songs by new artists? And you guys, you're being very honest. 7% say no. 38% say yes. And my favorite, 55% say, I have no idea. You know, hey. So, which leads to my dumb question of the night. I ask it. So why do I ask it? Let's all say it together. I ask it so you don't have to. My dumb question of the night. How are you supposed to even find good new music? Where? How? You know, used to be you turn on the radio and you walking down the road, driving down the road, and you hear a new song like, oh, I like that song. That's about as complicated as it got. Or sibling, friend, some kid at school, you hear the song like, oh, I like that song too. But now how do you do it? All those things still apply. In fact, I hope you all get recommendations from your siblings and neighbors and other kids. You're doing it right now. You just got turned on to a song that's only 3 years old. So this is one way to do it, right? You tune into jokers like me, and you know, fingers crossed, every once in a while we talk about a really great new song. That's one way to do it, right? A lot of you use streaming services, and streaming services are more than happy to suggest, you know, that whatever is hot and whatever is new. And you know, there's all these playlists, right? Like Spotify. You go to playlist, and you know what? Give yourself the permission to listen to 10 seconds and decide you don't like it. Skip. But it could be that, you know, if you give yourself those 20 minutes, 30 minutes of listening to a little bit of a bunch of songs of new stuff on a streaming service, you might find that one, right? And because I'm crazy, I think it's totally worth it to have that one song, that one sing-along song. Oh, I'll give you another one, since I can't resist. I love this song inordinately. I said it. I'm going to put a YouTube link in the chat, but I'll tell you while I'm doing this. The band called The Heavy Heavy. And this is also a pretty new song. I want to make sure I get the title right. There we go. The Heavy Heavy, the song called Miles and Miles. Oh, I love everything about this song. Okay, I'm going to copy the link. And I'm going to put, why not? I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the description too. Man, I love this song. Is my enthusiasm coming through? A song called Miles and Miles by The Heavy Heavy. Oh, there's an example. Like, I don't know any other songs by them. I like that one song so much. I'm like, I don't want to jinx it. So yeah, there's good music out there. But how do you find it? That's my dumb question of the week. How do you find it? I'll say this. Number one, you have to want to find it, right? It's more than ever. We are in our own little cubicles, our own little boxes more than ever. And it's so easy to avoid stuff. It's so easy. It's easier than ever. Specifically new entertainment, right? It's very easy. Joseph, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Joseph, you're basically saying Google it, right? Google it. Yeah. Scott saying Alexa. Scott saying to, just ask Alexa to play so-and-so and similar artists. Yep. Charlie's saying Sirius is where I hear him. Okay, so you guys are, you're on it. What do you need me for? You guys are on it. Yeah, lots of good music. What I would caution everybody, including myself, is, the stuff that you love from your early years, all that stuff you love. Now, nothing's ever gonna in our minds, individual minds, nothing's ever gonna be better than that. We know what we love, and we love it. And you're always gonna love it. So what we're talking about is not something that's better, but something that and something that's refreshing, kind of reminds you a little bit of old stuff. Oh, last thing I'm going to say about Ilsey and the song we just did, No California. One reason that what put me over the edge is that, dang it, we got to do this tune in our live stream. A young band called Goose covered her song. There's a live on Spotify. That was one of the options. I went to hear her version of it, her original version of it. And I was also offered Goose's live version. Well, I know Goose is a very hip, talented young band. I thought, well, wait a minute, they're covering her tune. To me, there's no greater stamp of approval than someone covering the song, right? I mean, that's, no one has to cover anyone else's songs, right? That everyone writes their own songs. And Goose is a very hip band. The fact that they would cover No California, I thought, well, wait a minute, man. I got to get on this bandwagon. I don't want to be the last person to be talking about this tune. So there you go. Goose. There's Goose and Geese. I am Team Goose. I like Goose better than Geese. And yes, there are two bands with those two names, and they're not the same. And you can listen for yourself, but I'm Team Goose. Nothing wrong. I don't. I'm just saying, if I had to choose, I would go with Goose over Geese. I'm not even joking. I wish I could say I'm making this up. Jamie is saying that some radio stations have like a segment where they feature emerging artists. Yeah. EQX. Jamie, is that a radio station? EQX Vermont. Charlie, is that real? Charlie, is that real? A song called "I Don't Want to Die in a Super 8 Motel." Jamie is confirming that yes, EQX Vermont is a radio station. Yeah. There's so much new stuff out there. The NPR Tiny Desk concerts, National Public Radio Tiny Desk concerts. Those alone, holy moly! Those are just by scrolling through the hundreds of Tiny Desk concert performances. Just go to YouTube and type in NPRs in National Public Radio Tiny Desk concerts, and I'm more than you can shake a stick at. So many of those, and being a YouTube concert video thing, you get to see who the performers are, what instruments they're playing, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that would be a very quick way to scan through a whole bunch of brand new stuff. All right, there we go. And I'm not going to, well, yeah, why not? Let's finish off our new performer segment. Let's see, I'm going to pull up this one. There we go. Here's a young performer who keeps coming across my, desk, so to speak. Gwenifer Raymond. I'm going to check this out. We're having pretty good luck tonight, where I put something up on the screen and share with you guys, and apparently the screens are not going black. You guys are seeing everything at the same time I am, so I don't want to jinx it, but I'm sure it won't happen at all ever again. So hopefully on your screen you are seeing what I'm seeing right here. From Wales, I believe the country of Wales, Gwenifer Raymond, very hip fingerstyle player. And I'm going to scroll down because I think, in case you can see what critics are saying about any particular performer. I always like seeing what critics say. I know some people feel like critics are just too critical. I like seeing what they say. So among the many people singing her praises, National Public Radio, Bandcamp, the Financial Times, that caught my I have to admit, the Financial Times wrote, her music, instrumental, intricate, infinite, gazes at the stars. That is pretty poetic from the Financial Times. Mojo Magazine, my favorite Songlines magazine, gave her a big shout out. You guys know, you've heard me mention Songlines magazine. Uncut magazine, a bunch of album of the year, mentions from the BBC, from Thurston Moore. You see what I'm seeing? Thurston Moore, famous from what band? Who knows what band Thurston Moore made his name with? Put it in the chat if you know who Thurston Moore played with. You could Google it, but I want to see if anyone knows. So yeah, so Gwenifer, Raymond, as always, link to one of her great YouTube videos will be in the description of this live stream, as well as a link to her website. And was there another? Did I have three things? I guess two different YouTube videos and then a link to her website. Because why not? And you guys, if you haven't figured out already, one of my favorite parts of preparing for this show is finding new people and sharing them with you guys, or remembering some new person. Think, oh, I haven't mentioned them on the show yet. You know, I gotta mention them on the show. And Randy, you are correct. Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth. Yeah. Nothing but Chaz says she's intense. She is intense. Yeah. She's not playing, man. She's not playing. I mean, she's playing, but she's not playing, if you know what I mean. All right. Hey, you want to learn something? I sure do. I sure do. Let's learn something. Ooh, this one's going to be simple, but so cool. And I can't believe we haven't done this yet. But according to my notes, we have not done this thing I'm about to show you. But it seems like exactly the kind of thing we have done. Now, whether we have done this before or not in a previous live stream, this bears repeating, as they say. Okay, for another WTF weekly teaching feature, a little lesson plan I call Power Chord Cousins. What's going on here? All shall be revealed. Okay, so what am I doing here? I love this name, Power Chord Cousins. I mean, you guys should start a band called the Power Chord Cousins. Why is that an amusing name? I'll tell you why. Because power chords are, at a minimum, it's 2 fingers, 2 notes, the most basic elemental power chord, right? And what we're about to do involves 2 fingers and 2 notes. But instead of getting that grinding, powerful sound known as a fifth, that's what you get when you play a power chord. That's why power chords are named F5, C5, whatever. The interval here is a third, and it's prettier. Okay, so grab G, however you want to grab G, but we're going to focus on the 2 bass strings and only strum the 2 bass strings. Be careful. I know you're allowed to strum more, but we're going to focus in on only 2. So that's 3rd fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the 5th string, any fingers you want, but only strum those 2 notes. You want to listen for a balance. You don't want one string to be louder than the other. Sometimes just willing yourself to make them, but just telling yourself, make them balanced, that alone sometimes magically fixes the problem. Until that magic happens, tilt the pick up towards the ceiling more. So you glance off of the fatter string. You don't hit it with as much direct force because it's tilted up towards your chin. And that will help balance out the sound a little bit, because we want both the strings to be audible, you know, and equally audible. Okay, now do the same thing on a C chord. Grab a C chord, but only strum the middle and ring, the 4th and 5th strings. The 2 notes, whether it's the 2 from a G that you just played or the 2 that you just played there, are known as thirds. You're playing the 1st note of a C major scale and the 3rd note of a C major scale. Take my word for it. And the musical distance between the 1st note of a C major scale and the 3rd note of a C major scale, the musical distance is nicknamed a third. And thirds are very pretty. They're very melodic and harmonious. Nothing wrong with fifths. Fifths are just a little aggressive. Here's a C fifth. We could call it a C power chord. Here's a C fifth. And here's the C played as a third. Now you have to be listening for the difference, right? And you can even write a little riff that's going back and forth between the 3rd and the 5th. Ooh, here's a little cheat. Since we have a concern that the skinnier of the two strings doesn't get drowned out by the fatter of the two strings. If you strum these as upstrokes, that takes care of that problem. Because now the first burst of energy from your hand is being received by the skinnier of the two strings. Okay, anyways, and the F chord is also prime real estate. Don't worry about how well you can play an F chord. Don't worry about that. We're focusing in on the third and fourth strings of the F chord. Also the interval known as a third. You can see why I chose G and C and F as examples of like finding these thirds, because you could do all of these with your middle and ring fingers, just different pairs of strings. For G, it's the two fat strings. Drop down one string with both hands, there's the C, and drop down one more, and there's the F. Now, what can you do with these? You can play this instead of playing a chord. You're playing two of the three notes necessary for the chord. You're playing the first degree of the scale and the third degree of the scale. We should play one more note to make it officially a chord, but you're allowed to imply chords. So imagine playing electric guitar in a band, and instead of playing a G chord, just playing those two fat strings. And then these are alternatives to this sound. Nothing wrong with that sound, but not for every song, right? You can even write a song where the riff, maybe there's an intro riff that's based on those things right there, right? How cool is that? We're on to something, right? Now, at the bottom of the page, twist and shout. In the proper key, twist and shout goes D, G to A, but we're not going to do the old-fashioned D, G, and A. We're going to do D, G, and A as thirds. Take your C chord, slide your whole C chord up 2 frets, and you'll have what you need right there for the D. You'll have 5 on the 5th string and 4 on the 4th string. So we're going to substitute that thing right there. 2 fingers. I'm taking my other fingers out of the way just on principle here. We're going to substitute that for an actual D chord. It's cool. Don't worry about it. You're allowed to. In fact, I'm about to play twist and shout with only those 2 fingers. For G, here's my G. And G up 2 frets, there's A. Don't be distracted by my index and my pinky. I'll try to take them out of the way. I don't want you to think I'm doing anything more than 2 fingers on 2 strings. In fact, it's the same two fingers, no matter what. Sounds very hip, right? Now, you could play D to G to A. You could do that. What if someone's already doing that? And then you come in and start doing it this way. It'd be so cool. And this is kind of easy, right? You do not have to do it with your middle and ring. You could do it with your any combination of fingers you want. But add this to your rhythm guitar repertoire. Okay? Just so easy, but it sounds so good. Each of these is named after the name of the fatter string note. Okay? 5 on the 5th string is the note D. 3 on the 6th string is the note G. 5 on the 6th string is the note A. Okay, that's the root note, and then we're adding in the 3rd degree of the relevant major scale. You know. All right, there you go. Teach you a lesson you never forget. I think that's what I used to call these, a lesson you never forget, and now I call them WTF, weekly teaching features. That what you just saw, that might already be on my website, but it sure will be soon after our live stream. Okay, check. I'm looking in the chat to see what you guys are talking about. RB, could we play that song Cocaine, but with thirds? Kind of, right? I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember the actual key. The actual key of Cocaine, but I'm doing it with that D at 5 and 4. And the C 2 frets back. And that's not exactly how it goes, but that, you know, my parole officer would be very interested to know that I'm playing that song in any key, right? I joke. Is it D to C? R&B. Is that the right key? I was just guessing. Remember, there's 12 keys in music, so you have a 1 in 12 chance of just guessing the right key. 1 in 12 is pretty good. You know, it could be worse. Okay, hey, somebody asked me a question. Week after week, I label this the SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream, and I need some cues, because I don't want to not call it the Q&A live stream, because to me it sounds very inclusive, and that's exactly what I want to communicate. I don't want it to be like, hey, the dude gives free guitar lessons on the internet, although. But Q&A live stream just sounds, it sounds so good. So somebody asked me a cue, put a bunch of question marks in advance. When I first started this live stream, almost 2 years ago, we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary. I guess if you would have asked me what I thought was going to happen, I had this illusion that it would be like, hey, I'm working on the lead guitar part for Wonderful Tonight. What finger should I use? I guess I had this fantasy. It would be a never-ending list of pretty simple questions to songs I was very familiar with, and I would just bang them out. I'd be like, index finger. And then the next thing I'd be like, that one is the 4th fret going to the 5th fret. Next question, just bang them out, you know, give me more, you know. Cape-what for 4th fret, go. And after 2 hours, I'd be like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. I'll see you next week. To the extent that I had any vision for what the show would be, I guess that's probably what I thought it would be. So yeah. Oh well. I have fun. I hope you guys have fun. Thank you for being here, by the way. I'm looking at my list of things we have not talked about. We've talked about Gwenifer, Raymond. I'm going to talk about my dumb question of the week. There we go. Beginner guitar lessons. I saw your name in the chat. Thanks for being here, Beginner Guitar Lessons. Encouraging everybody to throw a like our way. We got a bunch of you watching. For whatever reason, YouTube doesn't let me like my own live stream while I'm doing it. YouTube wants me to like keep working on it. Hey, you know what? My accountant would love it if I promoted my books. I'll make this fast. This is for you, accountant. I wrote 9 books in 5 years. And I'm not telling you that because for any reason except I got 9 books. And to me, the real interesting thing is the fact that I wrote them mostly while on duty as an EMT. You know, it's a small town without too much gunfire, not too much horseplay. So a lot of times I'd be sitting just waiting for a call to come in, either in the ambulance barn or at the local public library, which happened to be just right next to the ambulance barn. And so I'd be sitting there with my little portable radio, writing these books. And for the most part, that's how a lot of them got written. I was an EMT for 4 years. So yeah. Now you know. Now you know. So what did I write? The Strum Pattern Bible. Get yourself a copy of the Strum Pattern Bible. Dozens of strumming and fingerpicking approaches with famous songs as examples. Nothing theoretical, nothing that's like, oh, this Jonathan thinks this sounds nice, nay, nay. Ooh. Where it's a long way from Christmas. That's the point. Get yourself a copy of the Christmas Songbook. 31 Christmas songs presented 3 different ways. Simple melody, simple chords, or a merger of chords and melody put together. Now is the time to get yourself a copy of the Christmas songbook so you can be ready for Christmas, right? What I'm showing you here, these are all available as electronic books. In fact, they're only available as electronic books. You're welcome to print them out. It costs too much for me to print them out and then ship them. It's just so much faster for you to buy them. You get them emailed to you instantly, and you can print them out if you want to. You can print out one page at a time. You don't have to print them out at all. I'm very proud of my book for beginners, my series for beginners. The Guitar Week 1, the Guitar Month 1, the Guitar Year 1. If you feel like you're a beginner, but you're not sure which is the right one for you, backtrack. Get the Year 1. If anything in there totally doesn't make sense, backtrack to Month 1. If anything there doesn't make sense, backtrack to Week 1. The Week 1 is written for people who literally just got a guitar, or maybe don't even have a guitar yet. Ooh, if you know somebody who is about to start playing the guitar, or they just did, I recommend these books. You don't have to know how to read music. You don't have to know anything. These are written for beginners. But I'm very proud of this series. All these are available as electronic books. They don't come in the mail. They come in your email, and they're available for you at song-bike.com. Debbie's asking, any new books? I wish. I have a list of songs for volume 2 of the Chord-Melody Songbook. And I like writing books so much. I can't wait to do it. I wish that was my day job, because it's so fun. So there will be a volume 2 for sure, because of all the written material that I spend time writing, whether it's in a book or lesson plans, whatever, taking famous songs and arranging them to be played as a solo guitar player with chords and melody, my favorite thing, 100%. So that's a good lead into this book. These songs are not that hard. Everything from Georgia on My Mind, Moon River, Silent Night, Turn the Page from Bob Seger, Yesterday by the Beatles, After the Gold Rush by Neil Young. 30 songs with a video. All these books have videos that are available, written out in chord melody style. So you're like a one-person band. You are playing chords at times, but you're also playing melody notes in between the chords, and it all adds up. Oh, it sounds so good. Love that book. The one that started them all off, the DCG trick. For whatever reason, that is my big viral video, the one that has the most millions of views. The DCG trick, what famous bands did with easy chords. Now this one, I'm going to rewrite this one, if only because I can make everything. My computer skills are so much better. This is the first one I ever did, and it came out okay. I mean, the content is great, but the layout, I'm better at presenting stuff now. But it's still a very hip thing. All the things you can do with D, C, and G, specifically for those of you who have come this far, but you're not aware that I am the father of DCG. If nothing else, that's what I, regular D, the C that's often called C add 9, and then what I call 4-finger G, because there's no better name for it. An awful lot of songs are based on specifically that group of 3 chords. And so I made a video about that. The video went viral. And I let about 7 years go by. And I thought, well, maybe I'll write a book to go with the video. Anyway, so that's that. And then the free one, the free electronic book, the SongBike Blues Guide, that's free. A lot of you have that already. I believe we're over 500 of those are out there in circulation. Everything I just talked about are not real books. They're electronic books that get emailed to you. If you want a real book, well, I got you. My Hal Leonard publication called Easy Guitar Chord and Lead Tricks by me. This one is real paper. I personally put this in a stiff brown envelope and mail it to you. And this has a bunch of things for rhythm guitar and lead guitar. A lot of it is relatively easy, but even for those of you who are pretty experienced players, there's going to be a handful of things in here that you never thought of before, a handful of things that you might not have come across, such as these are all known as tricks: the Dorian mode trick, the melodic shuffle trick, the open string blues trick, the B trick, the A to D trick, the E minor 7 trick. A lot of good things. All right, sales pitch over. Joseph is asking a question. Joseph says, when is your next gig? Thank you for asking, Joseph. June 6th. June 6th, myself, Clay, and Johnny the drummer. For sure, it's going to be the three of us playing at a small little cafe. And it's June 6th, which I think is a Saturday night, which means we will not be doing this live stream on June 6th, but my intention is to stream the gig. Yep, it's a Saturday night. So June 6th should be fun. It's not going to be a fancy schmancy live stream with lots of different camera angles or anything like that. But we're going to do our best to get the sound and the picture great. So that's the next gig. We have another gig in July, another gig in August, and we have new songs in the works. For those of you who might have missed it, we have, hold on here. We played for you guys a few weeks back, March. We played a bunch of original tunes. A lot of you guys tuned in, which I'm very grateful for. But in case some of you missed it, here's a link. I'm going to put this, let's see how this works. There we go. I'll put this link in the chat right now. And see what I do. All right. The songs are written by myself and my buddy Clay. Sometimes he wrote more of one song. Sometimes I wrote more of one song. But super, super fun. So I just put the link to that in the chat. In case you missed it, or in case you want to see it some more. It's short. We did 6 songs in 33 minutes. That was very important to us to not waste anybody's time. Let's bang out these songs, man. It came out well. We can't wait to do it again because we learned a bunch of stuff and we got all of our nerves out. You know, up until the last minute, there were little technical things that we had to overcome, and we did. But now that we've done it once, you know, we can't wait to do it again. So there you go. Thanks for asking, Joseph, about that. Schubert, thanks for checking in from Evanston, Illinois. I know Evanston, Illinois. Hog Eye Music, Schubert. Hopefully you go up to Hog Eye Music sometimes on Central Street and say hi to Jim at Hog Eye Music. That's the first place I ever taught lessons. I taught lessons essentially for 10 years. Well, yeah, for 10 years. Down in the basement. Oh, I've come a long way. Now I have windows. Oh, it's raining. Well, we knew it was going to rain. You guys having spring weather where you are? If you're passing through the Chicago area, or if you happen to live in the Chicago area, definitely make a visit to Hog Eye Music, Evanston, Illinois. Tell Jim I said hi. Call first, make sure they're open. I don't know what his exact hours are now. Very, very, it doesn't get cooler than Hog Eye Music. Acoustic instruments, guitars, banjos, mandolins, just a very hip place. A lot of guitar repairs happen there. And yeah, the bulk of my young adulthood was spent in that basement teaching 40 lessons a week, 50, that's half-hour lessons, man, banging them out down the basement, paying my dues. Yeah, good times. I was inexperienced teacher. My heart was in the right place, and sometimes that's all you have. Your heart is in the right place, and the rest you learn on the job. Does that sound familiar? Does that ring any bells? Yeah. Hey, Debbie, you were asking about new books. I had another idea, and this is not as a book of warm-ups, a book of exercises. I'm trying to think of the right word. It's not like, hey, here's a blues book, here's such and such, you know, but I want to do something, and I keep coming up with more and more great exercises. Well, mostly I learned them from other guitar teachers, different books and stuff. And so I can picture myself at some point compiling like my favorite 20 or something into a book. And it'll probably be another freebie, like the blues book is free on my website, song-bike.com. So it'd probably be another freebie. I think, you know, a book, I mean, I have to come up with a great title, because if I just said, you know, guitar exercises, I wouldn't buy that book. Well, I probably would, but you know, I got to come up with a good title. But it'll be full of stuff, including the kind of stuff we do here, the scales and arpeggios and like that. In case you missed it, we did a cool double hammer-on thing in the beginning of tonight's live stream. So I could foresee myself doing that. I want to do another freebie, and at the moment, that's one idea I had. Hey, checking in with the poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, I encourage you to. The poll question of the night was, are there any good new songs by new artists? And I'm so happy you guys are, you know, pretty open-minded. Only 9% say no. And hey, you have a right to your opinion. I'm not even saying that you're, well, I guess I am saying that you're wrong. But I like I said, the music that you know and love, that you've listened to for decades, there's nothing that's going to top that for you as a listener. And I feel the same way. I mean, my favorite stuff, there's nothing that's topping my favorite stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that I really like out there. 53% are saying, honestly, I have no idea if there's any good new songs. If there are any good new songs by new artists. 38% are saying, yes, there are good songs by new young artists. Oh yeah. Okay. Hey, you guys, how about if we do one more teaching thing? Oh, this would be a quick one. This is another one that, for the life of me, I think we did this before, and if we didn't, great. But if I show it to you and you're like, wait, that looks familiar, well, that's good too. Recently, I've been reaching back into the bag of stuff that we've been doing for almost 2 years now here in the live stream, and I'm bringing back some of the lesson plans that I think are worth it. And I mean, I wish I could say every single one of them is worth review. I mean, they are, but some of them really stand out in my mind as an important thing to be comfortable with or familiar with. Okay, so for our last thing tonight, I appreciate you guys sticking around. What you're looking at here is a lesson plan, 2-5-1 chord progressions. Those of you who are songwriters, this is a great way to write a song, meaning you take something that has been vetted, you know, a chord sequence that the world has already decided sounds great, it's appealing, the chords are not particularly hard, and you use that at a minimum as a way to start a new song, you know. I see a little delay here. Hope you guys are hearing and seeing this okay. My computer's moving a little bit slowly here. Okay, that seems better now. Those of you who aren't necessarily into being songwriters, you definitely want to be familiar with these chord sequences, because you're going to see them a lot, and some of them you've seen them already. So I'll tell you about the name. We'll get into the nitty gritty, the music theory in a minute, but let's just play through them for a second. A minor to D7. Notice that pointer finger can just stay right there. A minor to D7. My pointer finger didn't move to G. And if you listen carefully, you hear a certain amount of tension and then resolution on that G chord. A minor going to D7 leaves you feeling that something is unresolved, right? A minor to D7. And you can hear the resolution. It's going to happen on the skinny first string when you go to the G, especially if you call your attention to that skinny first string. How about E minor to A7 to D? In fact, if you did E minor with your first two fingers and A7 with your first two fingers, then those same two fingers just keep hopping over for the D chord. It's a convenient way to do it. Now, I'm whipping through these. If I were writing a song, I might stay on that E minor chord for a little while, right? There's no rush to get to the A7, right? Take as much time as you want. You're writing the song, right? You could sing anything with an E minor. You could keep saying stuff with an E minor and then change to the A7, but don't go to the D too soon. Maybe now go to D. Okay, so you can take as much time as you want with those. D minor, poor D minor. D minor hasn't done anything to bother anybody, but without a doubt, D minor does not get the attention or the love that the other popular chords do. It's a perfectly popular, important chord. D minor, index finger is going to stay on the first string when you go to the G7. Now that is kind of a big jump. D minor and then middle and ring reaching way over to G7. When you stretch across for the G7, it's very important that the index finger, that note is audible on the G7. That's where the tension comes from. In this case, it comes from that specific note of a G7 chord. And there's the C. Tension from the G7, resolution on the C. Music is nothing but tension and resolution, I heard someone say, and I think it's a great quote. So you could treat this page simply as a chord workout. Great. You could use it as a songwriting start. Great. You might recognize some songs in here as you strum, or as I was strumming. You might recognize, like, wait a minute, that sounds like such and such, and you're probably right. By the way, if you are inclined to write songs for this stuff, don't forget, by putting a capo on, you can be in any key you want, right? I chose these three keys. By the way, the top one is the key of G, the middle one is the key of D like dog, and the bottom one is key of C like Charlie Beagle. But you can do these in any key with the help of a capo, Remember I said there's 12 keys in music? I chose these three keys because these chords are pretty easy, right? Okay. Where does this name come from? Why is this called a 2-5-1 chord progression? These are quick nicknames. Some people call this the Nashville numbering system. It was not invented in Nashville, to my knowledge, but it's something that Nashville studio musicians, were known to rely on. And maybe they relied on it so much that they got the reputation for relying on it. But in case you ever hear someone refer to the Nashville numbering system, this is an example of that, this whole referring to these as 2-5-1s. Okay, so look up at the top of the page. The reason the 2 is lowercase is because typically the 2 chord is a minor chord, so they make it lowercase. The 5 chord, see how it's the Roman numeral 5, but there's a little teeny tiny 7 next to it. That's because the 5 chord, in this case, let's say D7, example 1, the 5 chord is often played as a 7. How are you doing with that? A 5 chord played as a 7. Instead of playing just D major, you play D7. You're not obligated to if you're the one writing the song, but just know that's an option. You could play just D major or D7. D7 has that built-in tension. The D major doesn't have that tension, but it's your song. You could play the D major and then later the D7, and then ultimately end up on the G. The real significance is the fact that the G chord is nicknamed the 1 chord. So what are we talking about? Why 2s and 5s and 1s? Every song is in a certain key. The chord that shares the name of the key is nicknamed the 1 chord. If the song is in the key of G, then the G chord is called the 1 chord. Once we make those determinations, then everything flows from there. If, and this is a big if the song is in the key of G, then the G major scale is the relevant scale to begin our discussion. The G major scale, the note A is the second note. Therefore, the A minor chord is nicknamed the 2 chord. That's all. The note D is the 5th note. Therefore, the D chord or the D7 chord is nicknamed the 5 chord. That's all. And the 2-5-1 chord progression is a classic chord progression that's been used in many, many, many styles of music, classical, rock and roll, you name it. It's been vetted. So that's what I'm saying for you songwriters out there. You should write a song with a 2-5-1 chord progression, especially if you want your songs to not all sound the same. Then use this, right? One more tip for those of you who are songwriters. Say you want to use those first group of chords, the A minor to D7 to G as your song. I got it, Jonathan. Okay, you can stop talking about that. I get it. Those chords sound good. Let me go write my song. The song doesn't have to start on A minor. You can start on G and then go to A minor and then D7 and back to G. The 2-5-1 chord progression, think of it as a phrase, as something that you can insert in the middle of a song, in the middle of a chord progression. But instead of just inserting 1 chord, you're inserting 3 chords, But you don't have to start on the A minor chord. You're welcome to, but the important thing is that sooner or later your song gets the A minor, and then for sure it goes to D7 or D major after the A minor, and then for sure it ends up on the G chord. So the premise here is that we're in the key of G. G is the main chord. And that grouping is important, but the song doesn't have to start on A minor. Joseph, I see what you're saying about, G7, how you can get away with G7 and just fret the skinny string and then avoid the 2 fat strings. Now you have a 1-finger G7. I had to add in a little vibrato. Your ears are not going crazy. I just add a little vibrato. Ooh, I'm a sucker for vibrato. What can I say? Yeah. All right. What do you think? I'm good if you're good. We did it. We did it. I'm going to take that off the screen. What else can I tell you? I don't know. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope your Sunday goes exactly the way you want it to go. better for worse. I hope it's exactly what you think it's going to be with no surprises. Last Sunday, I worked outside, I worked inside, and then I fell asleep, man. Massive nap. Oh, it felt so good. And then I had band practice Sunday night, which is Clay and I just having fun. Band practice. But man, checked all the boxes. Worked outside, worked inside, took a nap. Knock on wood, tomorrow will go just as well. I'm going to say a few good nights. Marlabon, thanks for joining us. Randy, Debbie, Joseph, thanks for being here. RB, DAC, Poet, thanks for being here. Stephen, who else do I see here in the chat? Chaz, thank you for your super chats, everybody. I appreciate that. Charlie, Jamie, thanks for being here, everybody. Next week, we're finally into the month of May. Woohoo! May 2nd, next Saturday. All right. Sounds good. Our final poll results. The question was, are there any good new songs by new artists? 38%, yes, there are. 9%, no. 53% say, I have no idea. All right. That's very honest. All right, you guys. On that note, I'm going to end that poll. Thanks for being here. I hope you had fun. I sure did. Have a great week. I hope spring is coming to your neighborhood. I'll see you next month, next Saturday. Have a great week. Hope you have lots of time to play the guitar. Hope you have a great Sunday. And let's do this all again next time. Thanks, everybody. My weekend begins now.